if your R&B beats are lacking that warmth and rich analog feel, it might be time to rethink your approach. I just picked up an analog delay pedal and I'm gonna use it to impart character and lo-fi textures onto my R&B tracks. It very well could redefine my entire color palette for my beats moving forward. So what are we doing today? We're gonna be using the Chase Bliss Tonal Recall Red Knob mode, which is a rare and discontinued pedal to impart texture and color into our tracks. We're gonna record into it. We'll use it as a delay, but we'll also use it as a character machine into this beat. Just before we jump in, the loop, starter, and MIDI progression are available on the Patreon. Check out the link in the bio. Let's jump into making this R&B track using the Chase Bliss Tonal Recall. First thing we need is a progression. I landed on 4 major 7, 2 minor, 4 major 7, 2 minor, 6 minor. I was singing a melody while recording the keys, and so I knew I needed to grab the mic and record this idea in.
I gotta let them know, trust me, you know you're safe here. Me, you know you're safe here, trust me, know you're safe here. I gotta let you know.
I doubled this, but also slowed down the tape with very speed so that I could get different timbre of voice, but I'm just matching the exact part.
Me, you know you're safe here, trust me, you know you're safe here. I gotta let
Then I'm adding a harmony.
Trust me, gotta let you know.
And another double.
Trust me.
I then added this ad-lib take, which was very messy.
Trust me, I know you're safe here. Yeah.
The goal is to have a lot of stacks and to make it feel really full and like a polished vocal, even though we're using it as a sample.
Gotta let you know. I gotta let you
Altogether, we're here for the vocal.
trust me, know you're safe here. Me, know you're safe here.
Moving on to electric guitar. So we're running the electric guitar into the Tonal Recall Red Knob mode, and this is an analog delay. So let's use a delay to create some cool textures. So press the pedal on. I just received it in the mail, and this is the setting that we're on. This is an analog delay, which means it's got some nice chips in it. I don't actually know which ones it's got, but it gives a nice characterful and also warm sounding repeat. Then we add this lead line with a nice delay repeat. Then I played chords, but this is where I'm not using it as a delay. I'm just using it as a lo-fi texture adder. I'm at 50% mix, and this is where we landed for that tone. I then increased the depth by a bunch, and I've landed on this really weird and wacky tone, which is perfect for adding these textures into our tracks. I think this sounds beautiful and is exactly what I'm looking for when using hardware to inspire creative ideas. Moving on to the drums. First things first, the kick. I then added this stomp, and I'm just stacking it with the kick. Adding this clap rim as the snare. 2-step hi-hat. Open hats. And then some percussion just to add some spacey elements going left to right. All right, live bass time. So this is how the bass sounds without running it into the pedal. And let's run the bass into the pedal and see where we land. I think I might have actually lost a little bit of low end and it's a little bit noisy, but that's all good. I'm loving the character and warbling nature that we're getting with it, so we're running it. So we clean it up a little bit and we keep going. Main thing we need to clean up, the vocals. Fix the pitch and the timing so that they sound uniform. I then wanted to add this synth line. Then out of these bells, which I think makes the whole thing feel otherworldly. Added that sub bass because the bass kind of lost a little bit of that low end. Little arrangement trick. Check out what happens when I add these beat stops in before going into verse 2. Exquisite. Okay, so I decided to add some violin. I've been trying to learn violin for a little while, but here's my attempt at adding some bowed textures into this track. So one really cool thing you can do with hardware is that you can use it as a live automation tool. So I'm going to be switching some of the knobs around and see if we can create some cool textures and glitches. When I move this knob, it actually sounds like a tape rewind. So I'm playing with that to try and make it on time, and we can have some really cool kind of rewinding sound. I thought it'd be cool to add that lo-fi texture onto the vocals as a parallel send. So I'm sending it out of my computer into the pedal as a reamp, sending it back into the DAW, and now we've got this beautiful ambient loop that's going to sit underneath the beat, and we've got this really cool texture that was completely unique. So it could just be like a secondary parallel effect. I also thought it'd be cool to use it with the stomp to make it a bit more lo-fi. So did the exact same technique, sent it out of my DAW into the pedal, back in, and it sounds like this. Ooh. I want to give you a little warning that I actually did double patched the reamp and then sent it back into itself, and the feedback loop exploded my ears a little bit. So please be careful when reamping. All right, I think we can call it there. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe and like button. All the goodies on the Patreon, loop starter, and MIDI, plus a ton of stuff posted every single week. All right, last thing to do, let's check out what we made.